reason that it turned, I think, not sour, but it turned a little bit, the wrong way after this latest loss to the Chicago Bears, which was a blowout. It didn't feel like they had a chance at all at any point in the game, was some of the comments of Joe Judge. And you can tell, we had Joe on when he first became the head coach of the New York Giants over on CBS Sports Radio.
Yep.
And to be honest, we liked him.
Yes.
I love his energy. He was no nonsense. He was, and I still like him, by the way. He was, we're going to play like a blue collar team. We're going to be gritty and grind and do all those. He said all the right things. And you want to see that show up on the field. The problem is it's not. And there's frustration starting to trickle out into how he's speaking to the media. Now, I'm not going to compare him to, his former boss, Bill Belichick, and say maybe he should just take a steady approach and let all the things that are happening behind the scenes happen behind the scenes instead of bringing them forward. But he's starting to go off, and he goes off after this game, which really was in some ways more interesting than what happened in the game.
100% more interesting.
Because he starts talking about things like, we don't have guys fighting on the sideline. I mean, he's alluding to the Washington football team who had their two D tackles throwing punches at one another. Guys in this locker room aren't quitting. When he talked about Pat Shurmur's team, he said the guys quit at the end of the season. So he's throwing up these things to qualify why this situation is better than what it previously was. The problem with that is that if you're not getting closer to winning, then what are you actually doing, right? And so it's like, I know they've had a ton of injuries, and I could pull it up, but you can rip them off the top of your head.
They've been ravaged.
They've been ravaged by injuries all season long, and in fact, that's why we're punting, but not really. Kind of whatever it is, what it is with Mike Glennon, because he's forced to start. Like we wanted to come into this season and know, is Daniel Jones the guy? It's his third year. We got to figure out, does he have the wherewithal? Does he have the skill? Does he have the ability to get over the turnover issues that he had his first. Can he do that? Let's just get an answer on Daniel Jones. If we win 6 games, great. But let's just get an answer on Daniel Jones. We don't have an answer on Daniel Jones.
Nope.
We don't have really much answers on the offensive line. It's been I don't know how many iterations of it we've had this year.
I will say, though, I was really off on Andrew Thomas. He's good.
He is getting much better.
I thought better. His first few games, he was horrendous.
I agree.
And I jumped in on that.
Year,
He's been very good.
Even this year, his second year,
True.
he was bad.
A little slow to start.
And then he got significantly better. So there is some positives. Their defense has played pretty well, but it just feels like he's coming a little unhinged and getting frustrated and taking it out in the media. And that never plays well. And I believe him when he says our guys are still fighting for me and all these other things. It just doesn't show itself up on Sundays. Well, you scored 19 points in 3 weeks.
I believe that as well. What I don't know that I'm inclined to believe is that, players that used to play for the Giants are still calling him during the week saying, Joe, I miss playing for the Giants. I mean, listen, there is trying to steady the ship, and then there is being downright delusional. Now, I like Joe Judge as well. I do. And when he was hired, and not just because of Belichick, because really most of Belichick's assistants have flamed out. I mean, really, if you think about it, a lot more have just flamed out and bombed than the other way in terms of success. See, the issue with the Giants, it's so much deeper than Joe Judge.
It is.
It's so much, it has permeated the soul of the franchise. And one of the things, and I admit this as a Jets fan, but I've always respected the Giants. You know that. One of the things about the Giants that always made me jealous, for lack of a better word, envious, is that there was always order. There was always a plan. They were always classy and seemingly always in lockstep and in unison as a franchise. Now they're in disrepair. Listen, Gettleman's going to be gone. I don't need to get on the radio and knock him around like a piñata, so I'm going to stop short of doing that. But I will say this, in totality, building a team, Gettleman has been about as bad as Phil Jackson was building the Knicks, and that's about as bad as you could get.
Wow.
Now I'm going to move on from Gettleman because we all know he's going to be gone, and I don't want to disrespect the man. He's battled cancer. I respect that. I think he's a good dude, even though a lot of players are saying the opposite, actually. They really are lately, if you notice that.
He's brash.
I have no problem with brash.
You got to have a little bit of a thick skin to deal with him.
Well, if you're going to be brash, you got to back it up with some results.
Well, I think that's why it's trending the wrong way.
So
because the results aren't there.
So he's going to be gone. Okay? All right, Kevin Abrams, elevate him, whatever. See,
I love Kevin, but I don't know.
no, what the Giants, I don't know either. What the Giants need, like if you evaluate the Giants step by step, you say, Brandon, do you think that Joe Judge, on his own merit, with a decent roster, healthy, good acumen in the scouting department, can he be a decent coach? My answer would be yes.
Yes, I would agree.
I know you do, because we've talked about this
That's right.
forever. And I know you're going to agree with me when I say, Brandon, Tiki, do you think that Daniel Jones could be a good quarterback? Yeah, we do.
We had him in studio. We like the dude.
Yeah, we do like him.
Good guy, smart guy. He's shown some really good things at times, been really bad in turnovers at times.
Yep.
But seemed to be stabilizing. Then he gets hurt.
His highlight tape is sublime.
Yes.
Because it encompasses both the run and the throw.
That's right.
And
but the lowlights has a lot of turnovers.
Like Darnold, and
Yes.
that's what bottoms out, and that's where you start getting in terms of picking up the option, and, it becomes a real issue. So we can have these conversations, and we will, as we branch out, 877-337-6666, about Judge, about the quarterback, about Gettleman, about Kevin Abrams. The bottom line is John Mara.
Yeah.
That's the problem. The ownership for the Giants, they have forgotten how to lead.
I don't know if it's the problem. I think
it is.
I think John Mara believes that Joe Judge is the right coach for this team, right? And I have a philosophy on coaches, right? There's certain things you got to be able to do. You got to be able to motivate, which I think he does. Like I think when you hear him speak, at least when we hear him speak, I'm sure it's very similar to how he speaks to his team. It's intense and it has an urgency to it. Like it's not like, hey guys, good job, we're going to come back.
He's not Adam Gase.
Exactly. He's not chilling.
Mm-hmm.
Like he understands what's at stake when you lose football games. I also forgive him because of some of the injuries, as we mentioned earlier. But so motivating is one thing. Two, and this is probably one, and maybe most important, you got to be able to have guys believe that you are making them better. And that's the staff. I say this every single time, BT, as someone gets a new coaching job, whether it's in college or whether it's in the NFL. Who are you hiring? And because that's what matters. Joe Judge can be the greatest head coach in the history of the world. He's not talking to the running back room, the offensive line room, the DB room, the kicking room. He's not doing all of those things. He's the head coach. Like he sets the tone. Maybe he sticks his head in every now and then, but the staff matters so much. And I think the one miss, and if you were going to point to John Mara in any capacity, it would be they didn't do a good job of hiring a staff for him. And it's showing.
Yeah.
Right? It shows. Robert Sale, who is their offensive line coach, has never coached in the National Football League. Right? And it's like...
Same with Burton Burns, right? The running back coach.
running back coach.
No NFL experience.
He was at Alabama.
Kevin Sure, the linebackers coach. Nothing.
That's right.
How do you do that?
I don't know.
How do you allow that? And then why would Joe want to do that?
Well, so here's the thing.
Joe Judge.
Remember we heard John Mara say that at the beginning of the season, he was talking about how, it's time to start winning. Yeah. Like fans are frustrated. It's not a must-win season, but I can see how fans see it's a must-win season. It was something like that is what he said. And at the time, it kind of resonated because when you're a new coach, you have a season to just suck. It just is what it is. Mm-hmm. Coach Coughlin had a season where we stunk.
Unless you're the guy in Arizona who got whacked after a year.
True. I forget his name too. I forget his name as well. But you remember Coach Coughlin's first year, we were bad.
It was rough.
What were we, 9, 7, and 9? I can't remember what we were.
I think you guys may have been 6-10.
I think you might be right. The next year we were 11-4 or 11-5. And so you saw it, right? You saw it change. You saw it changing. Yeah. We haven't seen it changing yet.
Plus, Tom had success in Jacksonville with Brunell and those guys. That's right. Keenan McCardle, those are,
That's right.
Smith.
And so when you tell me, when I hear it's time to start winning, and then you believe that, and then you don't see the results, you see ineffectiveness, you see missed assignments, you see just a lack of preparation for winning football, you start to know, okay, maybe it's not the coach. Let's look down the line. And then you see all these guys. It's like what's your qualification to coach?
Why are you here?
An offensive line? Like, what's your qualification to do this? Which in the NFL? What's your And I don't want to knock those guys. I don't know them.
Yep,
but I know what I see. And so I'm hearing one thing from John Mara, but the actual execution of it doesn't tell me that plan resonates. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, you hear one thing from John Mara, and my biggest contention, my biggest gripe here, my biggest beef with Joe Judge is he's trying to tell us things that he believes he's seeing that we know with our own eyes we're not seeing. Like, you can't feed us this nonsense.
Yeah.
You know, the press conferences the last couple of weeks for Joe have been embarrassingly bad.
Yeah, that's why
a gross misrepresentation of what's actually transpiring.
That's why I worry a little bit, because once you start getting heated with people that don't matter.
Well, you're talking,
and
what
again,
he's doing, Tiki. He's talking to the owner. He's not talking to us. He's trying to prove himself that he deserves the third year.
Do you need to get mad at the media? Do you need to get mad at, like, the narrative?
We didn't do anything.
Agreed. You don't need to.
No.
I mean, you can, but what purpose is it going to serve? It makes
distract.
Yeah, but
throw people off scent to the real issue.
Maybe. I mean, Fossil did that once when he was like, I'm throwing my chips into the center of the table. But we had a good team that year.
But Fossil had equity in this town.
That's right. And we were just playing bad.
Yeah.
We were just playing poorly. And so it actually worked. But it's hard to do that. At least do it repetitively and have it resonate. Have it like sound like I believe you. You know what I mean? So I think that's where the issue is starting to arise with Joe Judge. Not that I'm down on him, because I'm
down on him, but I'm not totally out on him.
I'm talking about down on, like, fire him. Like, I'm not at that stage. Mm-hmm. Some people are.
No, I'm not there either.
A lot of people are like, get rid of him. Yeah. I think there are changes that need to be made.
Yep.
And the Giants need to make a determination if Joe Judge is the guy that can go through those changes and come out the other side much better.